Hello, my name is Hawes, and thank you for the opportunity to talk to you about the negative effects of social media. So as we all hear each and every day or each and every week, more and more social media sites come up online. Very exciting stuff. However, when you peel back the onion with some of the positives, there's also some things to take a look at as well. And I'm excited to have the opportunity to do that with you here today. So today we're going to talk about a few things. Increased use of social media, also increase of cyberbullying, decrease in productivity, security risks, and decrease in interpersonal skills, all of which we're going to explore in more detail and talk about how really when you do use social media more, it can negatively impact all of those areas there. So when we talk about cyberbullying, a couple of the statistics that really grabbed my attention that I wanted to share with you today were that 48% of males and 27% of females in 2016 have been reported cyberbullied. Tremendous amount of numbers. Almost half of the males have been cyberbullied in 2016. And when you look at 1 in 4 children report being bullied sometimes in their adolescent online. So 25% of all children at some time in their adolescent years are going to be bullied online. So you start to think about what type of effect that can have on a child during their adolescent years. It can be very, very traumatic. I know we all think back to our adolescent years and sometimes the sensitivity that you have during those particular points and times in your life. So it can be very impactful. And then you look at 58% of children and teens have reported having mean comments posted about them online. You know, it's interesting, where everyone's life now is in the open, that 58% of kids reported having something mean said about them online. And again, you think about that sensitivity, at that particular age, it can be very impactful. So, definitely things to take a look at. When you look at it from a productivity standpoint, so 61% of total workforce access their social media sites daily while at work. 61% on work time. So if you stop to think about the people that you're working with, 61% of those people have checked or will check their social media sites every single day. It's a pretty high number. And some statistics that I also saw as well, that number's increasing with time, which isn't surprising considering there's more and more social media sites coming on board. 1 in 5 millennials spend over 6 hours per day on social media. Now I had to read that one twice. I thought 6 hours, is that per week? But no, it's actually per day. So you really look at that statistic, you think to yourself, wow, 1 in 5, so 20% of millennials, 6 hours a day on, and you think about that opportunity cost of all the other things that they could be doing with that time, being, productive outside or exercise. I mean, there's just so many different things that you could be doing with that time. 6 hours a day is really a lot of time. And this is interesting here. Average time to get back on task before being distracted is 23 minutes. Now, I've heard a similar statistic like that before when you're in the office with water cooler talk. Somebody comes over to your office, talks to you a little bit maybe about their weekend, and I always remember, it's like, okay, what was I doing? It takes a little bit of time, right, to get back on track. Well, it's no different with social media. And when you stop to think about that, 23 minutes with 61% of the workforce accessing social media during the day, you can really see how those numbers there can very, very quickly equal distracted workers and thousands of dollars lost in productivity. So some very impactful statistics there to take a look at. As we look at decrease in interpersonal skills, it really ties back to that other slide. I like to go back to that other slide there when you think about 1 in 5 millennials are spending over 6 hours per day on social media, right? And then you look at how does that impact interpersonal skills. Well, 1 in 4 people spend more time socializing online than in person. So again, 20% of people, or 25% rather of people, are spending more time interacting with people with social media than they are actually face-to-face. And 11% of adults prefer to stay at home and communicate on their devices instead of face-to-face. And then 28% of adults say they are addicted to social media. And that's very interesting to take a look at that as well. And when you look at all those things, especially when you look at the increased number of people on social media and the amount of time that they're on it, it's going to equal interpersonal skills have been declining with the increased use of social media. So face-to-face skills, which are very important not only in life but also in the workforce for success, this really is having a negative impact on that, and the statistics really speak for themselves. And then when you also look at security as another piece, 19 people become victims of identity theft every minute. And I know people that have, I'm sure everybody else out there knows people that have as well. And when you think about social media, you share a lot of information on social media. People's birthdays, right? See on Facebook all the time, for example. Hey, happy birthday. But it's interesting, a lot of times passwords or security passwords can be a birthday. So again, sharing a lot of information, that's just the tip of the iceberg. A lot of information is being shared online through social media. And again, these people that can take advantage of that are very smart in terms of how they can analyze that data and really put that together. And identity theft is the top consumer complaint to the FTC. Again, makes sense. The more you post, the more people will be able to find you. And they call it online skating, right? So, if I'm in Florida today and I'm posting pictures, a lot of people are going to know that I'm in Florida today, right? I'm not up in New Hampshire today. Because a burglar can break in within 60 seconds of posting a vacation picture alert people that you are away. And makes a lot of sense. If you're a burglar and you're looking online and you know that this family here is on vacation down in Florida, there's probably a pretty good chance that no one's going to be at their house. So it's an easy opportunity to go break into their house. And more and more stories of that coming online as well, where everyone's life is really exposed here. So the question is, how do you limit time on your social media sites, right? So one of the first things, which you talked about earlier, is limit the amount of social sites that you belong to. As more and more come up, resist that temptation to belong to 5 or 6 or how many different sites. So really manage that very effectively. Limit your network. Accept people that you actually know. I always hear people sometimes talk about, that person on this particular site has 400 friends, right? Great. I'm not sure what that award is, but I guarantee you that person probably, unless they're a celebrity, probably doesn't really know very good those 400 people. So now that they're a friend of yours, now a lot more of that information can be exposed, and it goes back to a lot of those other pieces that we talked about. And be careful what you click online and the amount of information you are sharing. Again, the more you share, the more you click, the more opportunities people are going to have to take a look at that information. And then really create experiences instead of commenting on others. It's very interesting. The dynamic now out there is everybody knows what everybody's not only doing, but also what everybody has. Or if somebody gets a new vehicle, they post that online, right? So now people are commenting on that, both positive and negative, right? Or any facet of your life. If you're sharing that, people are commenting on that. So really spend some time creating experiences as opposed to commenting on others. And then the positive effects of limiting your time, is where really it all comes together, is increase time with your friends and family. A lot of people say that time is the most valuable commodity there is, because it's one thing that you can't get back. Once time is gone, it's gone. There's really nothing you can do to get that time back. So again, you think back to that 6 hours per day on social media, big opportunity cost there that you're not spending time with friends and family. So that's very important. Boost self-esteem. Again, there's not going to be as many comments posted about you, both positive or negative, when you're not posting as many things. So potentially it could boost your self-esteem because 25, 30, however many people are commenting on all of your different things. Increase personal security. This is big. I think everybody out there wants that better security, right? And people spend a lot of money on house alarms and all these different things to really try to protect themselves. And quite frankly, one of the easier ways, as we look to protect yourself, is to limit your time on social media and what you're doing with that. And then avoid negative comments. Don't put yourself out there to either expose yourself to these negative comments or you are giving negative comments. A lot of times when you give negative comments, you're going to potentially open yourself up to receive some back at some point. So, very interesting to take a look at. In summary, as we take a look, it was very interesting to take, to dive into this. But I feel like it was all really common sense. But when you really start pulling different statistics and things, it's very eye-opening. And I hope to everybody else, really how much time, how much risk, how much exposure people are really putting out there with social media. And it's definitely something that not only do you want to take care of, but also to friends and family. You know, make sure that they're aware of all these potential risk factors as well, as it's you know, very important to make sure that they are. So again, thank you for your time today. I do appreciate the opportunity to talk to you. And again, my name is Eric Hawes, and talk to everybody soon. Thank you.